Hi, I'm Gregory Kennedy, and today I want to talk about my new ebook, Content is Fire and Social Media is Gasoline: 100 Marketing Mantras for the Modern Era. This started as a post I did on LinkedIn. I listed 30 what I would call maxims or mantras. They were just fun sayings that I wrote and thought was just be a clever post. They were things like solve, don't sell, brand with purpose, control the narrative, just a bunch of like things that I thought were provocative and interesting. I call them sometimes thought starters, things that I thought were interesting and might inspire other marketers. And that initial post got a lot of replies, and someone even said, "Hey, why don't you make this a calendar?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a really good idea, but I need more than 30 of these." So I wrote another post. I wrote about 60. Then I got to a third post where I did 100 of them. And then with 100 of them, I decided that, look, I have all of these mantras. Why don't I write a little explanation along with each of them to, kind of go into like my thoughts or my approach regarding that maxim. And so that was how I got the idea for my new ebook. And I'm really proud to say that I finally completed it. And the book also has an associated image or visual for each mantra. And for this video, which I'm doing to announce the launch of my book, I thought I'd go through and share some of my favorites and give you the backstory to those mantras. So I think I'll start with control the narrative. And what I wrote was, hey, get out in front of the narrative and control it. Don't let others define it for you. State your case on your owned and operated channels. Go direct and communicate directly. And I think this one is really important and makes a statement regarding the state of public relations and social media in general. I'm old enough to remember when the press controlled the narrative and you had to pitch them and bring your story to them and convince them of your ideas and your approach and what you thought was the right way to express something. And they didn't always agree. But now that social media has grown and you can build a really big audience on there or get other influencers who have audiences that are aligned with your vision and share your ideas and your perspectives directly. I think this is really interesting because this is actually how PR started in the 19th century. The press release was something railroads invented to get their side of the story out. There was a lot of bad press, perhaps, regarding railroads. I mean, they were doing all kinds of things when it came to expansion and building through areas, and it wasn't always popular to annex or take land and put a railroad through it. So they received a lot of bad press. And the railroads decided to just put their side of the story and get the message out there about the benefits that having a railroad might bring. And so that actually is the historical origin of press releases. It's just companies trying to get their side of the narrative out there. And I think this applies to everybody today that, you have a narrative, you have a story, you have something that you need to represent in the marketplace. That's really important that you take control of that, take responsibility for that, and get your message out there. The next one I want to talk about, fans over followers. What I wrote was, we have lots of followers, but someone smarter than me once said you should aim for 1,000 true fans. Those people love your work so much, they will pay you to support it. I think we've all heard the 1,000 fans concept. This is that you should seek out or try to attract people who are really committed to you and your vision and love the work that you're doing. And that's what's really valuable in an age where it's very easy for anyone to spin up a website, create a newsletter, make a video, and get out there and share their thoughts, right? But the aim, I think, here is to find those individuals and attract people who are really committed and really aligned to what you're doing. And it means that you can go really niche, perhaps, in a way that wasn't possible in the past. I think we see this across the board with all kinds of influencers who've built large networks and have very interesting businesses and niches that were perhaps something that you wouldn't expect to be able to build a business around. I recently read an article about a guy who's the king of baked potatoes. He has some Instagram where he talks about potatoes and sells all these interesting ways to kind of do baked potatoes with cheese and other types of ingredients. And it's an excellent idea, and he's very passionate about it. It's a niche product. I think for me, it's a really good example of the kind of niche opportunities that exist out there if you're passionate and willing to put in the effort and the work to build an audience around it. Here's another really good one. one, make it memorable or forget about it. Being forgettable is a death sentence for a business. If people can't remember your message 5 minutes after seeing it, you've wasted your time and money. Make it stick, make it shareable, and make it memorable. You know, I'm a big proponent of content. I think that people need to create excellent content, and that today's marketers focus way too much on the channel, way too much on the targeting. They don't really put the effort, energy, and thought into the actual content, into making it memorable. And I think this part is super important for everybody. If you want to be successful with your own, making sure that your message is memorable, is something that appeals to the audience that you're trying to resonate with, is critical, I think, to your success. Maybe I'll end with this one. Be real, not ideal. Authenticity is magnetic. Your flaws are relatable. Your struggles make you human. Stop trying to be the perfect brand and start being the honest one. And I think that this one is really powerful, particularly in today's world where I think authenticity is perhaps in short supply. And that's why it resonates so much with people out there. They want to know the real you. They want to see things that are not so polished and so perfect. We've spent a lot of effort and energy and time like covering up things or creating marketing over things that ultimately are inauthentic, and people are desperate for authenticity today. So if you want to download the ebook, it's available on my website, wearebrandzen.com. I made some changes to my site. It's now a sign up for my monthly newsletter. There's also, of course, this ebook is available to be downloaded from there as well. I'm doing a couple other ebooks that will be posted later in the year. And of course, if you want to engage me in dialogue, you have questions, you have feedback, you want to tell me how much you hate my book, you want to tell me how much you love my book, you want to tell me what's missing from my book, feel free to find me on X and on LinkedIn. Take care. Bye-bye.